at Cane Creek, which I worked for the USGS forever in water resources, and channel changes just don't happen. How Ben did that, I don't know, but that's why we went down to check, and so I could see what it looked like and et cetera. But there hadn't been enough water to make it work yet, so we didn't really get to see if what Ben had come up with was gonna work or not. But it looks like to me that it will. Channel changes are very important. They don't like to do them, and for him to get that done with something else. And while I'm talking about Ben, I want everybody, the commissioners especially, know that Ben has went so far above and done such a good job down there on our water and sewer that there's no comparison to how he handles the people and the contractors. He's doing you guys a really, really super good job. I just want you to know that, because I know he's not going to tell you, so I'm telling you. Okay?
He's not overpaid, David.
No. I don't think you can, when you have your little meetings on deducting pay or adding pay, that should come into to being.
Nobody's getting deductions.
Yeah, no deductions on Benny's side. No, we discussed that when that come up, Dave. Setla is still working on our easements. We got the one road that we're taking off of what they call Tangerine Ranch Road, and it's our road up to the Setla property, and we got about maybe a couple hundred yards to the loop road, and we're going to extend that straight out, trying to relieve the traffic. So they're working on that. And then we had some changes that we needed for Setla to take over on our water. We had some water problems, but then that got taken away. So they worked on it, but they didn't have to do it. So that helps us and helps them, because with a private landowner proceeded to let us have the easement through his property to do what we needed to do to keep the water going in a circle like this, because you don't want any dead ends. Okay, so that's what Setla's been doing. When I went to them, I talked to Mike, and they're very pleased with how the fire went at your big fire event, and they seem to be pretty happy with everything went, because it was in a wilderness area and the way they did this stuff. And I thought they would do a finalized thing so we could all read it, but the first one to come out, they thought everything so well. After that, there won't be a final. As of now, there will not be a final paper come out other than that first one I handed you guys. And then they're starting to work on their wilderness stuff that they've been working on, and comments from the wilderness. And they got some problems on the loop road they're looking at on dispersed camping. They actually want to eliminate any camping on the loop road except for where they designate it, and they only have, as far as I know, on the loop road they only have one camping area, and that's pinhook camping, and that's clear over on the Grant County side. We don't have any camping on our side. That would affect the loop road part. And then they're working on Uwa Road was slid off. They got one lane you can still get in, and then they still working on how they're going to handle Geyser Pass, and Lackey Basin is covered and sealed off, so you can't get up there, and they're figuring out how they're going to do it.
Is there dispersed camping on the loop road now?
Yeah, you can camp anywhere. That's what's the problem. They just pull over and camp. The loop road with the new pavement and stuff is one of the biggest hits for the tourists there is. But what's happening is they're just pulling off and camping.
And what's wrong with that?
It due to the fact that human beings have literary problems, it's causing chaos as far as the Forest Service is concerned. If they had bathrooms every so often, that would be different. But since they don't, that's what they're looking at.
Are people not as responsible as we would hope they would be with their
Well,
waste?
Right.
We're going to have more deputies out patrolling, so they can make sure that doesn't happen, Jerry.
Well, right now, the deputies in San Juan County are a little thin due to the fact of some other problems we have.
I guess I'm just against the Forest Service just
We're all
coming
against,
up with a problem, and then they're going to solve the problem by not letting the people use the forest.
yeah, well,
I don't think I'm in favor of that.
well, no one's in favor of the forest closing anything. I'm just putting out there, this is what they're thinking about. So you guys can be thinking about how you want to handle that problem. That's
So do you
my
know they
job.
come to us about it?
Oh yeah, they're gonna come and talk.
All right.
And they're gonna probably talk
Send
to
them our
you,
way.
talk about the road. And I said, okay, that's the forest. BLM, everything's the same on the BLM. The drilling has not taken place. We still have the 3 wells at Lisbon Valley, and we have the well still going on at Wilson, but nothing's happened. And I didn't get to meet with the BLM this Monday because of the holiday. I don't have any really new information, but I will the next meeting we have. That takes care of the BLM. Okay, I'm getting lots and lots of phone calls on our roads because we haven't been able to grade them. Dust, you name it, I've been getting calls for it, the roughness. One guy called me, the tires actually fell off his car because of the washboarding. And he had to have, in fact, even when the lug bolts went through to the inside of his brakes. So he had to have that all redone. So I'm not saying how fast he was going. All I know is that the washboarding is bad. That's all I'm saying. I have no idea how fast he was going to do all that damage, but it happened. And so I'm getting lots of calls on, and I'm getting calls on the same way on our construction. But that's easier to explain because that'll all be taken care of when the construction's done on our water and sewer. We have another contract to take care of the roads and stuff that'll be happening. So that's a little easier to explain than why we're not grading the roads. Well, there's no moisture in right now. The way the spring went, it was too muddy once, and then all of a sudden poof, and then it's just too dry. Unless you use a water truck, and that's not too feasible really right now. Ben knows more
Are any
about
of the
that.
farmers calling you and telling you they can't plant their crops because they're
Well, and down where I live, there's not too many crops, so I don't have that problem
any
yet.
cattlemen calling you and telling you
Nope.
the feed's not growing?
Oh, well, the mountain feed, that is unbelievable. In fact, what they're trying to do right now is keep the cows up high instead of, because it's time for them to come down low, keep them up there and mow the mountain down because they didn't have to. So they got the cowboys chasing them up and down, trying to get, that's what's happening right now.
All I'm saying is that there's lots of problems when there's no moisture. And lots of people can bring complaints. I didn't know
Yeah.
you were the complaint department. So.
I am the complaint department. My job is to hear the complaints from the people, bring them to you and Ben, and that's what I do. That's essentially that's what I do. Okay. What else I got? Oh, I saw one thing today that we're going to really need to look at. When I came past, well, due to the fact that the construction at bottom of Nipples Hill or Muleshoe Canyon is stopping long lines of traffic. When that traffic gets to Wilson Arch, and we got people trying to get across the road, that happened this morning when I came through. And as they start doing more construction on that, it's going to get worse. So we need to either contact UDOT to do, something's got to happen or somebody's going to get run over. Right, because they all park on one side and then they run across the road to go up and see the arch. Well, now we got a big long line of cars that's coming and they're trying to pass each other and everything. This is what I saw this morning. So we need to look at that really, really good before someone does get hurt there. I don't know what the answer is. It's always been a problem. We've told UDOT there's a problem there anyway. Without construction, now the construction has made it really bad. And when they start, they're talking about 45-minute delay. You know how many cars and trucks are going to be backed up in 45 minutes? And then they're all going to hit that area at one time trying to pass each other and do all the things they do. So we
I
need,
don't think they can have a delay that long.
well, that's what's going around town is that it'll be a 45-minute delay when they start shooting those cliffs off.
They have been. They've been advertising that when they're blasting on those cliffs, it'll be 45-minute delays.
Yeah,
Just because.
Wow.
So the reason for that is because you can't even have a cell phone or any sort of electronic device going through that field once they start wiring the explosives because they don't want them to go off. We've actually, they aren't even going to be letting emergency vehicles through it during certain periods of that, just because it's not safe with the explosives. So that is accurate.
I thought the legislature had passed a law that talked about UDOT not having delays over a certain amount of time.
It must
But
not.
I understand if
Yeah.
it's,
And
if it's
I really
blasting,
don't,
it's probably.
I don't really think there's any way they could not delay that long once they blast those cliffs off till they get it
You
clean.
have to clean it off.
And I thank the attorney for backing my word up on that, so.
Hey, I do what I can, Jerry.
Yeah, I know, and I love you for it, so. Anyway, that's my report.
Good.
Yes,
Well, we thank you for the good news, Jerry. It's always nice to receive.
it's
a
all
report
positive, everything was
So full of good
positive.
news, you know.
I'm the only one that
Although
had
they did
a,
say Ken's Lake was up, so.
well, everything else was pretty
Good to know
positive,
when we can go.
except I'm the one that had the negative warning
What's going on at Spanish Valley?
as far as water, sewer.
They should be having meetings. Are you,
Well, we had one meeting, which went really good. That's the one I reported on it already. And we haven't had a meeting since. And I think Landmark is going to come out with another report. They haven't said anything about any more public meetings, as far as I've been told, or Ben, or our zoning people. So we're kind of in a limbo, waiting to see. Well, basically, we're waiting to see where Love's truck stop ends up. You know, it's basically what we're doing right now. As far as the water and sewer, everything that's a done deal. And when I'll be glad when it's done. And other than that,
put a moratorium on to.
well, I'm getting some comments on the moratorium on people. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot. Because I talked to a bunch of people. I had a family retreat, and there's a bunch of people there that was asking me different questions in this retreat. And the biggest thing is how long the moratorium lasts, because they have bought property along the commercial area, and they're wanting to do certain things and have not been able to. So that's the biggest thing that's come to me.
Well, the commissioner had put that moratorium on, so to take that as a priority.
And I told them they're looking at what they can handle, how that should work. But some of these people have big bucks tied in their land and they're wanting to do something, and they're being held back, and that's their big complaint.
So process-wise, the moratorium ends in November, and so that's really the timeline to get some sort of land use changes passed, if you want to have land use changes passed. And Landmark has been going through this process. The next step is they are preparing draft ordinances to take to the planning commission, because all land use items have to go to the planning commission, obviously. And then once the planning commission has reviewed it, the planning commission makes a recommendation or doesn't, or makes modifications. They recommend whatever they recommend, and then that'll come to you all in probably late October, and it'll be here for you to consider for approval.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, David.
And as far as I'm concerned, as far as Sitla and the Loves, they don't tell. I can't get anything out of them, and so it's kind of at a standstill. Also, what they're going to do there too. So
And that's kind of on its own.
it hasn't popped up. They haven't worked on it. They're kind of just sitting there. So we don't know. And then due to the moratorium, of course, they were ahead of the moratorium, but there's nothing happening there. I'll just put you very blunt.
I haven't heard anything.
Dave hasn't heard it. I haven't heard anything. Of course, I won't hear anything till it's a done deal and a signed thing, because they're not allowed to talk to me and tell me stuff like that. But
Okay.
sewer is going good. That was my big deal, guys, is water and sewer and getting it done and getting the roads fixed for the people. That's what I do. I'm
Well, thank you
on
very
the
much,
public
Jerry.
affairs.
That's
I thank
good.
you. I thank you
Folks
for having
from,
me.
Spanish Valley, keep in touch, Jerry, invite him to the meeting and see, so that way we get all the information as we have a commission meeting to keep us an update, so.
Well, me and Bill Love are very, very good friends, so that will not be too much of a problem, I don't think.
Okay.
Is that right, Bill?
Is he the one that's putting up the love truck stuff?
He's
They'll love it.
he'll love a Willie when it's done.
We allowed the citizens to make comment at the comment section. I'm sorry, otherwise I'll open the door for every Dick and Jane to
Yeah.
start beating up on the commissioners up here.
Anyway, guys,
you.
thank you. I appreciate working with you. You need me, call me. I'm always available.
Nixon.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
I just have one item for you today. And since oil and gas seems to be on your mind, I want to let you know about another upcoming sale in December of this year. And that's, it's not a statewide sale, but it would include parcels in Monticello, Richfield, Price, Moab, and Vernal field offices. And I think there's, I don't remember how many acres are totally in that. But in the Monticello field office, there are 9 parcels that are proposed for lease, and that's approximately 5,500 acres. And these are, I do have a map for you that shows all 9 parcels. Some of them are a little small and hard to read maybe on this map, but that'll give you an idea of what areas these leases, proposed leases, are in. And some of the areas are Bull Canyon, and that's the one that's towards the easternmost, towards the state line. Bull Canyon is a tributary to Monument Canyon, which runs into Montezuma Canyon. There are also some leases in the lower Alkali Canyon and Alkali Point areas, as well as Cave Canyon. And then the upper Road Canyon and Ute Point and upper Ute Canyon area southeast of Blanding. And all these parcels adjoin existing oil and gas leases, and some are completely surrounded by existing leases that have been issued. I just bring that to your attention so you can be aware of that's the next lease sale that is being proposed.
On this map, the 9,
Yes, and I said some of them are really small. This number 33, Willie, right there, the number actually covers the lease. I think that might be a 40-acre one, I'm not sure. But there would be 9 leases, 027 to 035, I think is the last number on that. Some of the parcels are quite large. You can see that number 30 south of Blanding. That's nearly 3 sections. And I believe the smallest one was 40 acres. I'm not positive on that, but
035, did you say?
I think 035 was the last one. Let me double check that. Yes, 035 is that Bull Canyon area. So the state has prepared an environmental assessment on this lease sale, including the Monticello parcels.
Where is it in the process of, for comment, that kind of thing?
Comment through September 30th
Okay.
of this year.
On that environmental assessment?
Yes, right. So it's something for you to consider. And that's all I have for this part of the meeting this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep, and the update.
Okay, well, thank you.
Well, there you have it, commissioners. We'll take a break,
Mr. Chair,
about 40 minutes.
we do have a closed session scheduled for later in the meetings.
We can do that now.
We could do it now if you wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah, we could do
Just
that.
make everybody, have to kick everybody out for a minute.
Let's all get to
Yeah.
Make a motion, we go into closed session.
Motion's been made to go into closed session. Do I have a second? Second by Willie Gray Eye, Commissioner Gray Eyes. And folks, we're gonna go into a closed session. We normally have this at the end of the commission meeting, but we still have time. In the meanwhile, so we're gonna try to get that out of the way and then get into commissioners' meeting.